My older son Mark has taught me that the wealthier you are, the more you dress down, and the poorer you are, the more you dress up. Um, because if you're rich, you don't have to prove your status to anybody. You're just rich. If you're poor, you're told every single day that unless you don't have these different material things, you really don't matter. So it begins from the time that you're a little kid. You're supposed to have these fancy shoes. You're supposed to have a fancy car. You're supposed to have your hair a certain way. You're supposed to wear jeans a certain kind. All of those kinds of things. And, you know, so that's, you know, some of the nasty stuff that people will post, you know. You go into a poor family's home and they have the biggest television. Well, that comes off of like many years of oppression. Many years of being told that you ain't nothing and feeling like unless you have these status symbols, then you're really not going to matter to everybody in society and your family, and you're going to be an absolute failure. But in terms of in this movement, it's really further magnified. And something that I've learned over the years, when you're like running around on a, well, first of all, anybody that's in a leadership in a poor people's organization, if you're poor yourself, anybody that gives resources are going to come into that process with already some judgments if they have resources. Because most people believe that people are poor in this country not because of systemic issues, but because they don't have the same kind of work ethics and morals and values, and they're the undeserving poor. So, you know, we're already going into that process like that. But then the other thing is it's really sick to ask people in organizations that don't have $1.95 to be fiscally responsible because they don't have anything. Yes, it's one thing for not even that. I'm going to scratch that. It's one thing for, you know, somebody to not hold on to their receipts or buy themselves an extra coffee. You know, that's their own maker's, you know, Judgment Day thing. If they bought one too many coffees or they put extra gas in the car or whatever. And, you know, for all sections of society, we're constantly making that fight. Because poor people give up everything that they have around this process, and they give up everything. So, you know, if they've got 5 beans here, they give up 4. And if somebody that has some resources comes around, we're lucky if they give up a half a bean in terms of what it is that they have. And so it really is double standards. But my scientific history has proven that people that have the least have always given more. Their time, their food stamps, the food in their house, their homes, their money. And by and large, people that are comfortable, if there's anybody comfortable anymore, haven't been willing to do those things. But I think that because of this growing new class that's developing, where, you know, people had a job yesterday and don't have anything today, are going to be new beginners at learning how to do this. So I'm not going to get into I told you so stuff. You know, we understand, and we're going to help you navigate your way through this process, because we understand that it's a much harder fall to lose a 2-car garage and a house than it is to not be able to stay at the shelter anymore and you have to sleep in a lot. You know, both are difficult, but one of the things about not having dirty money and not taking dirty money and not having any money, it creates a freedom. It creates a freedom to tell the truth and to really protect the interests of the people and the movement that you're working with.